Tao. Being within body is the source of pain and pleasure, and bliss or happiness happens when you are not within body. Being in body and being not in body is a function of consciousness. When your consciousness is of the body, means you are within the body. When your consciousness is not of the body at the moment, then you are beyond the body. It is pain and pleasure. When you are the body, your whole consciousness is of the body, pain can happen to you. It is always through the body. Pleasure happens through the body. The pleasure of sex happens through the body. The pain happens through the body. Pain is possible, pleasure is possible through the body when your consciousness is of the body. Joy, bliss, meditation, things like these are possible when you are not the body. Your consciousness is not of the body. This needs to be understood. It happens ordinarily and also accidentally as well. You are listening to the music and suddenly gravitation is lost. You are absorbed in it. You have forgotten the body. You have forgotten the body. You are filled with music and you have become one with music. You are listening to the overflow. You are sitting. You have discomfort in sitting in a particular position. But the talk is so captivating that you are lost in the talk. You have forgotten about the body. And when you have forgotten about the body, only then that particular act will help you to transform. This is the state when I say sex is an opportunity to transform beyond the body. Sex happens through the instruments of the body, and if your consciousness is not of the body at a particular moment when the act of sex is happening, you have transcended beyond the body. What you then, and only then, sex becomes a means for transformation. Sex transforms your consciousness, transcends you to a higher realm. As I said, while listening to music, you can suddenly find the gravitational forces lost. You are in the act of sex, but your consciousness is beyond. Then pleasure will not happen at the level of the body. The gravitational pull of the body and sex will not be there. You are absorbed in something else. You have forgotten the body. You are filled with something of a higher nature. There is not a listener to it. The listener and when you are listening to the music, there is a listener, that means the doer, the act, and the subject, object, and the action that is happening. Right? The music is being played, it is an object. You are listening to it, you are the subject. And what is happening between music is being played, you are the subject. When act of sex is happening from your side, your partner is the object, and the act of sex is happening. Three things: subject, you are; object, your partner; and the act of sex is that which is happening. In that moment, the moment the three disappear into oneness, then the act will transform. And your partner can also think in his own, imagine in his own way. He is the subject, you are the object, and the act that is happening, both will be transformed. So sometimes it happens, one is transformed through the act of sex, the other remains engrossed in the body, and transformation does not happen. One experiences pleasure, the other experiences through the same act bliss. This is natural and it happens. When both have transcended beyond the body, you are thinking that you are subject, as your partner is object, and the act of sex is happening between the two. The three has dissolved into oneness. There is only the act that is happening. As long as the object and subject is there, the egocentric identities remain. Desire remains. There, the way your objective is to give the joy to your partner. Your partner thinks the same way. Both can be transformed simultaneously through that act. And there is no greater joy than when the two partners engaged in the act of sex through that act are transformed. There is no greater blessing than that. One act. You can do it through the food also. You are cooking food for your guest. So your objective is you are creating something for your guest, something that they have not tasted it. So your cooking will be directed with that you are cooking for someone who is not used to a heavy or strong spices. So keeping that in mind, you are engaging in the act. And when the dish is prepared, while you are preparing, your objective is to create the dish that will give happiness or joy or bliss to your guest. Now the food is served. So there is you, your guest, and the food. So this can transform and create a greater joy or bliss in the person, in the guest, if the guests are very much pleased with the food, with the dishes that are served to them. And you will also, both will feel a different kind of, this is not pleasure. This is, you can call it, the pleasure has transformed, has reached the higher realm. It is a joy. You do not call it pleasure, you call it a joy. Joy of giving something to someone that makes him happy or joyous. Now, in that position, in that state, you have expanded. Now you are flowing with, while you are preparing that dish, while you are listening to the music, you are flowing with the musical notes. Now you are flowing with cooking notes every step. Behind the act of cooking is your guest in the mind. When you are in the act of sex, the act is happening, but the act is flowing, but your consciousness is somewhere else. Consciousness is aimed at to create something that will give joy to my guest. You have expanded beyond the physical, because while the act is being performed at one way, the sound, now music is being played at the physical level, the sound is subtle. Sound is subtle, so you are creating through the physical act a subtle sound of a higher intensity, higher quality. You have expanded. You are standing in the kitchen using the same pot, stove, and the pot spoon and different things. Ordinary same ingredients which you accustomed doing, and the children and the family members say the same thing over and over again. Now you got some different way of cooking something, so you have decided that you are going to do it. The ingredients are same, the process is different. You are cooking using the same ingredients to prepare a different dish, different methodology, different process. This morning I told someone a particular kind of a dish made with the vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, carrot, beans, tofu or tempeh, the bell peppers, and all the same ingredients which you are accustomed to using it. The process is different. Now in the same way, you use the act of sex. The organ of sex is the same. The person is the same, the act is same, but the process through which you are entering into it is different. You are entering into not for your own pleasure, but to give joy to your partner. And your partner thinks the same way. So you have expanded beyond your narrow individualities. You are thinking of giving pleasure to your spouse. Your spouse is thinking of the same thing. Act remains the same. We are all, both of us, are looking to give the joy to the other. So consciousness is not of the body. The organs are same, but the process is different. The ingredients are same, but the process is different. It is the process that transforms everything, and the consciousness behind that transforms everything. Now you are flowing. If you are listening to the music, you are flowing with the musical notes. Now there is no limit to you. You have expanded. The notes are dissolving into silence, and you are dissolving into the silence along with them. Now you are cooking the dish. There is cooking notes, cooking process. That is, taste is flowing, taste is there, and you are dissolving in that taste and in that entire process. You have forgotten the time. You have forgotten the body. When you are in the act of sex, you have forgotten the body. You are flowing with a different kind of consciousness that will transform. Whenever the body is forgotten, body means the physical. Whenever you have forgotten the time is also forgotten. You are creating this dish. You have forgotten all the other normal way of cooking. You have learned something different. When body is forgotten, it is tossed aside unknowingly, unconsciously, and joy happens to you. Through the process of Tantra and Yoga, you can do it in a methodological way. Now, it happens when you are cooking. Accidentally, unconsciously, unknowingly, something, dish happens to you. Now, this is how one of the best sweets was created. The person was boiling milk. Boiling the milk to thicken it to make something. It happened for some reason or the other, milk burst. Milk burst. He could not throw the whole cauldron pot of milk, which has maybe 50 liters of milk. He continued, the milk has burst. Naturally, not that purposely it was. In paneer, we burst the milk through a process while making the paneer. In this, the milk burst. He continued to fry it, continue the process, and the process continued. The milk thickened, but because it burst, it separated. It kind of the cottage cheese came in. Now, when it was thickened and it formed that, in that he added the solid milk, sugar, other condiments, and something else, what he thought at that moment. So it happened, the milk that burst, he continued to cook it, and it changed its color. Now the color changed. Now the milk solid, which in Indian terminology is known as mawa, dehydrated milk solids, and some milk, so that, and they mix it all together, and he prepared a dish that became kalakand, a particular very tasty dish. And then he did another process in that, the one that changes color, golden color, and over that he add another. He set it in a pan, so underneath is a light gold color. Then he took the milk solid, the fresh milk, melt it and allow it to thicken, and then put it over the plate. So the next layer, this dish came to be known as milk cake. Both are exotic sweets that came out of unconsciously, unknowingly, because of a calamity. But now it is done methodologically. The system was improved. So what could have happened unconsciously and unknowingly to you can be transformed into a methodological manner. So yoga and tantra, through the process of yoga and tantra, you can do it methodologically. Sometimes it happens unconsciously and unknowingly. Through the act of sex, you attain to the state of beyondness, beyond the body, beyond the body consciousness. But through the yoga and meditation and tantra, you can go through this process methodologically, consciously, then it is not an accident, then you are the master of it, then it is not happening to you, then you have the key in your hand and you can open the door whenever you want. So whenever you want, you can create this milk cake. Then you can, there are mango milk cake, chocolate milk cake. The chocolate milk cake is an imagination, but mango flavored milk cake is very normal, available in the market. So you can transform your act of sex. You know the process, how to enter into it methodologically. And when you know how to enter into it methodologically, the key is in your hand. You can open the door whenever you want to go into it. Or you can open the door forever and throw away the key. No need to close the door again. So you can enter into that act whenever you want. Joy happens in ordinary life also, but you don't know how it happens. But if you can create, like cooking, through your cooking, joy can happen. Whosoever is enjoying your cooking, you yourself are enjoying your cooking. But if you have found the key of creating the taste into the food, then you know how to have. So as I said, that happened accidentally, unknowingly, because of a mistake. The milk burst. He did not know what it is going to happen, but he used his imagination and tried to create. There was a risk, but he did it and succeeded it. The happening is always when you are not in the body, means not limited. Body means limitations. Remember this, body means limitations, narrowness. So narrowness, he was making something, but the milk burst for some reason or the other. He continued. So there is a little sourness of that burst milk. He maintained that, added something little sweet. So milk cake has a unique taste. Kalakand is white. It can have a pink color also. It has a unique taste also. So whenever you again feel any moment of joy, become aware of whether you are the body or in that moment not. You will not be in the moment. Whenever joy is, body is not there. The limitation is not there. Not that body has disappeared. The body remains there, but you are not attached to it. Your consciousness is not of the body consciousness. In act of sex, this can happen. Methodologically, through the method, you can reach to that state when the act is happening at the physical plane, but your consciousness is not at the level of the body. Your consciousness is transcended. You are listening, you are playing the music. The instrument is physical. Your fingers are playing on the harp or the strings of the instrument, but your consciousness is not of that. Observe when Zakir Hussain plays his tabla. It is a joy seeing, joy listening to him, and a joy watching him play. The way he plays, there is no break in the rhythm, and he does magic. So you can do the same way magic with any act that you are performing, be it your cooking, be it talking, be it making love, and then your whole life will become yoga. a method to transform. Body remains, but you are not attached to it. Your consciousness is not of the body. You are not attached to it. You are not tethered by it. Your consciousness has jumped out of the body. You may have jumped out because of the music. You may have jumped out of because of the beautiful sunrise. You may have jumped out because a child was laughing. You may have jumped out because you were in love. Whatever be the cause, but you have jumped out of that for a moment, out of the body. The body is there, but tossed aside. You are not attached to it. You have taken a flight out of the body. You can do this through any act, through sex, while you are making love, cooking, or playing music, or talking, or anything. You can toss aside the body and you can come out of the body. And this is only a question of attention. Attachment is a question of attention. If you pay attention to the body, you are attached to it. If the attention has moved away, you are not attached to the body. If your attention is in the act, you are attached to that act. And this is what happens to the act of sex. And then you can never transform it, never use this sex as an opportunity to transform, to transcend beyond the body. Any act can take you, once your attention, attachment is not there. Attachment is a question of attention. Your attention, attachment is to the organs of sex, to the body. You pay attention to the body, that this is what is happening. If in that way you put your vehicle on auto gear, like plane, when the pilot is driving, right, when flying the plane, he puts it on the auto gear. The plane is moving on its own, reaching to his destination. He is free. His whole body, his whole conscience, everything is free. You can put your act on auto gear. In the case of pilot flying the plane, he may not have to remain there either. But you are there in the act performing. But you can, the pilot can remain sitting there in the cockpit. He have put the plane on the auto gear. Now he is having his breakfast. So plane is moving on its own. He is having his breakfast. You can put your act into auto gear. It is happening on its own, but you are enjoying the greater breakfast or the meals of a higher consciousness. There can be no better joy than that. So attention determines your attachment, where your attention is, that's where you are attached to it. So enough for now. These talks take place live streaming every week, Saturday, Sunday and Monday. So until then, take care and do have a pleasant day.